My second live of today. Um, yeah, it's we have some storms coming up here in Alabama. I'm not sure how severe it's going to be. Word is that in the forecast is probably going to be some tornado warnings, but yeah, I'm pretty sure those storms are going to last well into the night, carrying over into the morning. But yeah, that's basically what we got going on. Just wanted to get on here doing a live stream, doing this live because it's really cloudy and stormy outside, and the best place to be right now is in the house. Um, Now, my vlogging, as far as my vlogging for this week, due to the weather, um, it's kind of up in the air. I more likely won't be doing any vlogging tomorrow, which I usually do vlogs on Thursday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays mostly. Occasionally, I'll do them on the weekends, depending, but mostly I do them on Wednesdays and Thursdays, which are my days off from work. But the way this weather's looking, you know, I might have to try to get sneak some vlogs in over the weekend. But nevertheless, I'm gonna kick it with you guys right here on this live stream. And as you guys come into the live, I would appreciate you if you hit the like button. Hit the like button on, as you come in. Two taps of a screen, one click of a mouse, depending on what device you're on. Greatly would be appreciated. Help get this live stream out there and help get the channel out there as well. Um, yeah, but that's what it's looking like right now. It's gonna be some storms coming in. For those that are affected by any storms, if you're in Alabama or Georgia or anywhere where they're gonna have any storms, hopefully everybody is somewhere safe. Hopefully everybody's somewhere safe and a secure location, so you won't be plagued by these storms, because these storms get intense, especially when that wind picks up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you definitely want to be somewhere safe. Want to be, want to be in the house. But yeah. What's up, Dimes? Welcome to another live stream. Thanks for coming back to another live. I appreciate your support. Hopefully, you're doing well today. Appreciate you for coming back for another live stream. Um, yeah, so I'm just relaxing. I was out earlier today. I actually went downtown, walked around a little bit. Um, kind of caught the little vibes of the nice weather. But that was a few hours ago. So I was like, let me get back home before, and actually while I was out, it actually started sprinkling a little bit. It wasn't any like major like rainfall, but it was like you could feel a little bit of like, you know, you could feel some of the some little bit of rainfall, some little raindrops, a little bit, or whatever the case may be. And it was cool being out earlier on downtown at the Big Spring Park, just chilling. What's good, bro? Good today. Been sat on safety work stuff. Then played some ball, tweaked my ankle, but I'm good. Wow, damn. I hate to hear that you tweaked your ankle, but I'm glad you're good overall. Yeah, man. Yeah. So it's good to hear it's not anything too severe with your ankle. But my day's been going good, bro. Just been relaxing. Got a chance to get out and walk around, get a little walk. Ate me some lunch earlier. Ate a big lunch. Was able to walk it off downtown. Was able to get out and enjoy the day before it got all cloudy, and we got storms in the forecast. So I make sure I get all that done early so I can come in and relax while the storm is, because I don't like being out when it's like crazy when the weather's crazy like that. So, um, what's up, Rich? Rich in the building. Thanks for tuning in to the live. Thank you for tapping in. I'm good. Minor sprain. Yeah, yeah, that's good to know. It's nothing, nothing too crazy. Um, but yeah, yeah, the American storms are something. Like when it's storming out here, it storms. Like I'm talking about, intense winds. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the deep south. The deep south definitely gets, and the Midwest. The deep south and the Midwest gets its fair share of bad storms, tornadoes, everything like that. It's just, yeah, at time floods. It's crazy. It's crazy. Especially the low lying areas, the low lying areas like that's flat. They're more prone to like tornadoes and floods and stuff like that. Even though some of the kind of like elevated areas can get floods too, which I discovered a couple years ago when what happened with in Tennessee and all in Tennessee and North Carolina and all of that up in like the mountainous region, so they can get floods too. Thug Life says, "What's cracking? What's going on, Thug Life? Thanks for tuning in. What's going on? It's crazy where I am on a clear night. I can see the Northern Lights. Dope. Oh shoot, that's really dope right there. The Northern Lights. That's really a sight to behold right there. The Northern Lights for sure. That's definitely a sight to behold. That's like something definitely a very very nice sight to take in. I always wanted to see something like that in person. Yeah, I'm doing all right, Thug Life. I'm doing good. I'm just chilling, just chilling. It's about to start storming. It's about to start storming, so about to hopefully the storm don't get too crazy. It's in the forecast. Hopefully it's just a heavy rainfall, and and that's then that hopefully the winds aren't so intense and violent to where it causes like tree limbs and branches to come off the trees and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully it's just a major downpour and that's it. Because like I said, I don't mind the rain. You know, the rain is pretty calm and relaxing, but you know, but when it gets to be like borderline tornadoes and stuff like that, now that I don't be feeling that too much. Yeah. But it's really it's really gonna be I think that once the spring hits, once the spring officially hits, there I feel like there's gonna be some really nice days, but um there's gonna be some pretty nice days, but also there's gonna be some rainy days in the midst because it's gonna be that springtime rain, April showers bring May flowers type stuff. Random question: can you provide some context on your healthcare in the U.S.? The healthcare in the U.S. is kind of hit or miss, and what I mean by that, in some instances, like let's just say you get your health care, right? You pay your health care. You have you have your network of doctors within your network, depending on where what type of where you're located, and what type of it depends on location, and also like what type of providers are within your area, and of course, your premiums, your insurance premiums are based off of your health. Like if you have any like pre-existing medical conditions, generally the insurance, your insurance is going to be higher, because they deem you a higher risk as far as you having health complications. So the insurance, usually the healthier you are, in short, the healthier you are, the less your insurance is going to be, your insurance premiums. But oh yeah, but yes, Dimes, absolutely. Yeah, those ambulances are extremely expensive. Like this is why like so many people in America be having medical bills out the wazoo, because because those ambulance, like if you like, that's why like so many people, like let's just say somebody gets into a car accident, right? And it's not like, and and the people, let's say somebody that gets involved, it's not so severe to where, or if it's severe enough to where you know but some people, let's say they get out the car, somebody gets out the car and they're able to walk under their own power, and they'll deny, a lot of times they'll deny medical attention, they'll deny that ambulance ride, because the ambulance rides be costing an arm and a leg. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not sure whether insurance covers the ambulance ride or not, but I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, medical, like if something happens, which is unfortunate, which is crazy, because like there's people that incurred medical expenses and medical bills that went into debt, and had their credit messed up, because that medical, those medical expenses mounted up. The medical bills, like, yeah, it could be crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. Visits to the ER, they be costing money. And you know I can't remember, let me see. I mean, let me see. I'm gonna see if does insurance cover ER visits. It depends. I guess it depends on where you know where you get transported to the hospital at. So in some cases is, if you go to an ER, they'll cover, I think they'll cover out of network rates. If let's just say you get into you have to go to the ER in another state, different to where, but it's like basically you have to like read, like when you get insurance, you have to read see exactly, what type of plans cover emergency services, or how much you have to pay in regards to a deductible, how much the out of pocket expenses are in the event something happens, and how much did it have to pay before the insurance fully kicks in and pays for the services. I mean, it's crazy. It's a racket, man. It's a racket. Yeah, I'm to be perfectly honest with you, it's a racket, because the average person really, a lot of these expenses, like the average person can't even afford it. And that's why it's best to just, if at all possible, you know what I'm saying, the best thing you could do is I understand you can't avoid all accidents, sometimes accidents happen, but if at all possible, I try to tell people, like, things you can control, you can control your health, you can control, like, going to the doing your routine checkups to make sure you're good, make sure you're eating right, make sure you're exercising, all that type of stuff, and to maintain a healthy weight. That way it can minimize your chances of actually having to go to the doctor and to accumulate, any medical expenses. You know what I'm saying? That's probably the my best advice to people, because it costs a lot of money to be unhealthy. It costs a lot of money to be unhealthy. That's crazy. US got this wrong. We don't have to pay for nothing. Healthcare, we do get taxed a lot though. But if any accident or appointments, we just book them. The system is backlogged though. Wow. Yeah. And I heard in other countries, a lot of other countries, that healthcare system, you don't have to pay anything for like, which is, which is how it should be. You know what I'm saying? Which is how it should be. If anything, like I feel like the taxes should cover, if we're if you're gonna pay taxes, I feel like the taxes should cover any type of medical expenses. That shouldn't come out of people's pocket. If you're charging, you already taxing the people heavily over here, and then if somebody incurs a medical bill, they still have to come out of pocket and pay for it. Even with the insurance, you still got to pay insurance, and health insurance isn't cheap. You know what I'm saying? Unless let's just say you have like medical insurance through your job or something. You might get lower rates on insurance if you like say work at the post office or any other job that has like employer they have, you get medical coverage through your employer. You might have lower rates then, but a lot of times these insurance companies are extremely high. Like insurance, um, these health insurance plans, and it's like, they charge you for everything, and it's just like, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I feel like if we're gonna pay taxes like this, taxes should cover medical expenses or should cover, stuff like that. We shouldn't have to pay, because think about it. If you paying all this money, for insurance and medical expenses and stuff like that, then on top of that paying taxes, then it's really hard to save money. It's really hard to put away money for other stuff, man. It's just like a way of just kind of, I feel like the system's messed up. It's there to exploit, like, fortunate, the people, the working people, like the people who don't really have it like that. The paycheck to paycheck people, it's crazy. But yeah, it's definitely yeah, the health insurance system is crazy. Yeah, if it just started raining, just started pouring down. So I did the right thing. I'm staying put, not going anywhere. Yeah, it's crazy. I think the temperature is supposed to drop tomorrow too, if I'm not mistaken. Temperature is supposed to drop tomorrow here in Huntsville, but it's gonna pick back up Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then it's gonna dip down to like the 40s. So if I'm gonna do some vlogging, it's probably best that from a weather standpoint, I do it like this weekend, like Saturday, Sunday, or something like that. Yeah, for those who are just coming into the live stream, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that like button. I appreciate it. Appreciate that. Yeah, man. Yep. But definitely not a good time to travel right now with all this rain. Yeah. I think one of my vlogs, it was one of my vlogs where I actually was recording while it was raining. That's when I was my first visit to Clarksdale, Mississippi. When I did my vlog in Clarksdale, Mississippi a couple years ago, it actually rained during the course of my while I was recording. It was coming down out there, but I still was able to get through it though. I still that At that time, that's when I had my GoPro camera, which I still have, by the way. I might go back to using it from time to time. Last time I used my GoPro was when I recorded my 99 Islands vlog in Japan. When I went to when I did the 99 Islands in Kuju Kushima. Yeah, that I had to bring back. I had to bring out the GoPro. I had to bring the GoPro out because really my primary choice of vlogging for as far as my camera is the DJI Action 4, but GoPro, yeah, the GoPro is still kind of like a go-to. I don't use it as much anymore, but if I have to as a backup use it, I'll use it. My girlfriend got me the DJI Osmo 4 for my birthday about a couple years ago, and I haven't put it down since. Like it's phenomenal, especially when it comes to night recording, which the GoPro doesn't do a good job with recording in night videos. Oh yeah, that's definitely, yep. There's Freemasons in America. There's Freemasons here in America. Most definitely. Hmm. Um, yeah. Well, Dobbs, to answer your question of what the whole channel is about, um, I'm a travel channel. I go travel to different places and get the history behind the places and everything like that. So basically, the goal is just to ultimately, get as many people on board as far as get as many people inspired to travel as possible. Even if it's locally, even if it's within your own state, that's basically what the channel is about. And that's in a nutshell, just traveling and going to different places, vibing, and I like the history about the cities. Not only getting the visuals, but doing commentary and telling the story basically of where I'm at. I think I'm gonna go out to the UK one of these days. Like I said, I haven't. My channel. I've only had my channel for like 2 years, for a little less than 2 years. So I haven't really got a chance to like go international aside from when I went to Japan a few months ago. So yeah, most of my content has been right here in the States, the US. You have no idea the history here, bro. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not too familiar with a lot of the history there in the UK. Yeah, I've never even been. I've never even been. Maybe one day I'll visit though. Maybe one day I'll make it out there. Yeah, that'll be cool. That'll be cool because But yeah, one of these days I'm gonna get out there and start doing a little bit more international. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Yeah, my allergies kind of start bothering me around this time of the year too. Springtime, you know how that go. Wesley, I'm not sure as far as the next stop. I haven't really decided yet, honestly. Um, I haven't really decided yet. Um, possibly the black belt in Alabama, the black belt region. possibly. Um, Sometimes I be having a hard time deciding because I be like, yeah, I want to go here, but then know, it all depends. A lot of it depends on the weather too. The weather is a huge determining factor in regards to where I go. So if it's warm enough in one place, I might go there. Then if it comes down to picking between two places, the ultimate determining factor would be weather. More so than anything else. But but the black belt in Alabama is definitely black belt region is definitely somewhere I'm considering as far as one of my next string of vlogs. But Wesley, realistically, Wesley, I have a poll on my community tab in my community post where I have it to where you guys can vote on where you would like to see me when I go on like a major vlogging trip where I just do a crazy amount of batch vlogging, and I have it there. So if you want to go check that out, I have the choices I have there: Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada in one selection, Oklahoma and Texas in the other one, the Dakotas and what's the other one? West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Maryland. So yeah, so far I have 22 votes on it. So yeah, that'll help if you could whenever you get an opportunity vote. Um, that way, that kind of gives you guys an idea where I plan on traveling. It was initially in April that I was going to take the trip, but as it turns out now, it's probably not going to be until later on this year, like possibly July or maybe even October. That remains to be seen. But I still want to keep the poll open so you guys could, ultimately gives more time to vote and for me to make a final decision in regards to where I'll go as far as those choices are. My dream is to go to Cali on some Fast and Furious vibes. Okay, okay, man, that'll be cool. Yeah, Cali's really known. The Cali is like when it comes to street racing, California is real big for that. They real big for that. I remember when I was out there, I used to see a bunch of SRTs and you know uh you know car, a bunch of SRTs, a bunch of Corvettes, all type of like, people out there, all type of those vehicles out there racing. You know what I'm saying? Occasionally the Mazdas, some of them had a Mazda. What you call those? What's the dang? What's that Mazda? Crap. Is that right at the tip of my tongue? But it's the Mazda. I forget. I can't even think of the MX5, and they soup them up. They soup them up and everything, and they soup them up, and they some of them cars like it was another one I was thinking about too. They soup it up and they be racing them. It'd be crazy amount of, but yeah, that California is real big for that, for that you know I'm a Dodge guy. I'm a Dodge guy. I'm a Dodge guy for sure. I like the Dodge Chargers. I'm a Dodge Charger guy. You know, I like what else do I like Saab. I like the Saabs. I like the Saabs. I like the old school Saab. It was like the drop top convertible Saab. Man, that thing's a nice. I think I actually had a 92, and I messed up. I messed up. I messed up the transmission on it. I was like my first That was like my first official car. It was a 92 Saab. It was a convertible, man. The transmission went out on it, and and at the time I wasn't even thinking to keep the car and just stack up some money and replace the transmission. I was just so hung up on the price of replacing the transmission that I was like, nah, I'm just gonna move on. But I should have kept it because that's a classic, man. Those cars, they don't even like, those cars are rare now. If I knew what I know now, in hindsight, I would have held on to that. But yeah, but I also like Corvettes. Matter of fact, my I want to go to the Corvette Museum. That's what I'm gonna do. Want to go to the Corvette Museum in Bowling Green, Kentucky. In Bowling Green, Kentucky, they have the assembly plant for the Corvettes out there, Bowling Green, and they have a museum. That'll be somewhere I'd be interested in checking out. You know, um, yeah, that'll be something. My favorite car is a '96 Supra. Everyone drives auto in America, though, right? You have driver's ed, that's a good thing. Um, to get a driving lesson here, it's like $50 an hour. Wow, dang, that's crazy. Or is that 50 pounds? I think y'all currency is pounds, right? Y'all currency of pounds. Um, wow. Yeah. Most cars in America nowadays are standard are standard, like they come standard with automatic transit transmission. Like you have some that are built with manuals, but this generation, this younger generation, like they don't drive manuals as much as like the older generation. The older generation was like most of like my aunts, uncles, like the older generation, like they first cars that they learned how to drive was a manual. Nowadays it's like everything is automatic, everything is automatic. That's how they manufacture most of their cars now. Um, you know, but yeah, driver's ed, yeah, they definitely had driver's ed here. Um, depending, they some of the schools have them. Depending on where you go to school, some of the schools have driver's ed programs, but but they definitely do have driving instructions, like you know, gas prices per dollar. Oof, gas prices. They've went up drastically. I'll say that. It depends on where you live too. The gas prices it depends on what part of the country you live in. On the West Coast, specifically California, gas prices are generally way higher than they are like in the Midwest and down south. Um, yeah, like down here, it's like up to $3, over $3 a gallon now, over $3 a gallon now, and which is high for us down in Alabama. Like, but California is probably up to like $8 a gallon in a lot of places in California. You know what I'm saying? So their gas prices are more than double what our gas prices are. Like, yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, man. Gas prices are like at one point in time. I be hating to hear how much the gas prices went up because at one point in time, like my parents, grandparents, think people like that. They always tell us stories about when they were younger. Excuse me. When they were younger, their gas prices were like 60 cents a gallon, 40 cents a gallon, or something like that. Some crazy low amount of money back during that time. 40 cent, 50 cent a gallon. And now it's like $3 and $2 and $4 in some places. It's just like the crazy inflation is insane. Oh wow, 140 per liter. Oh, okay. Y'all's metric system is different too. Y'all's metric system is different. I noticed. See here it's like per gallon, but per liter it's like it's like for y'all it's per liter. Wow. But that's pretty cheap. That's pretty cheap, isn't it? Like $1.40 or is it a pound? Is it a pound 40? So 30 pounds gives you like 200 miles. Wow. So 1 pound equals, so 1 pound is 40 pence. Oh wow, okay. Okay. Yeah, that's one thing I need to brush up on is the currency and or the how to the conversion currency conversions and stuff like that. And yeah, yeah, man, like $30 here. $30 don't even get you half a tank here. Okay, so you would say $1.40. Okay. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so it's $1.40. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, like it's like nowadays $30 here don't even for most people it don't even get them half a tank. Like, with these gas prices, some people have to it'll take some folks. And it also depends on the grade of gasoline that you use. If you use premium, you're gonna pay even more for premium because if regular unleaded is like $3 and some change, then premium will probably be about $4 and like $4.50 or something like that. So just imagine if your car only that you could put only required to put um premium in your car, premium gas. Some people might pay as much as $100 for a fill up with those crazy gas prices. Petrol cheaper than diesel. Yes, it is. Absolutely, absolutely. And diesel fuel is expensive. Diesel fuel is expensive. Like so with those like 18 wheelers, pull up at the truck stops and stuff like that. I just be kind of like out of curiosity. I be looking to see how much they be paying, how much what the pump says. I see $200, 200 something dollars for a fill up. Somewhere between 200 uh $300 in some cases. I'm like, geez, yeah, that diesel is expensive. And to fill up them big old tanks, yeah, I'd be like, man, if I was like a contractor, or if I was working for a company that was driving, I'd be like, man, I'd be like, y'all got to hook a brother up with a gas card or something, man. Y'all got to put this on the company tab, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, good gosh, bro, that's crazy. But yeah, but see, the car that I have now, I have the car that I have a Mazda, right? I have a Mazda, and it's like It's very fuel efficient. That's why I made sure this car that I got was gonna be full of fuel efficient because like, when I be traveling, man, like, yeah, of course it's gonna require me to I be trying to save as much money as I can. A lot of times it only take me like 20 to 25 bucks to fill up. I mean, it's gonna cost more now because the prices went up, but when the prices were somewhat decent, in the $2 range, it got down at one point. It got down to like $2.17 a gallon. It would only take me 20 to $25 to fill my car up. You know what I'm saying? And it gets a pretty big range. It gets a huge range as far as the mileage on that full tank. 500 miles range. On a full tank. So that's the kind of like the upside to it. But yeah. Excuse me. But I definitely advise people, like, if you can, if you in the market for a vehicle, to get something, definitely get something that's fuel efficient. You know what I'm saying? There's good cars out there that are fuel efficient. But I know folks be tempted to get their sports cars and stuff like that and everything like that. But yeah, but fuel efficiency is the wave, man. And the fuel efficient cars too, they you have longevity with those cars. You have longevity. You could drive those bad boys for hundreds and thousands of miles, hundreds of thousands of miles, as long as you maintain them, get the oil, the basic stuff done, the oil and filter changes and all that stuff, cabin filter changes and stuff like that. Regular periodically, fill up the fluids, and that's it. It's really, a lot of those cars are very easy to maintain. Get you hundreds of thousands of miles out of them. And yes, yeah, electric. Yeah, I definitely, no, I can't stand electric vehicles. Yeah, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do an EV. I couldn't do an EV. Um, so many people out here in America that be driving those Teslas. Um, you know, they drive those Teslas, and I want to say those. What else they be driving a lot of? Those Chevy Volts. You know, yeah, I can't. Yeah, I couldn't do it. Yeah, those. Oh yeah, and those Audi Q4s too. Those Audi Q4s. That's another EV. Yeah, I couldn't. Yeah, I'm not an EV person, like, at all. I prefer gasoline powered vehicles. I do all the services myself, basic tools and thousands saved. Yeah, that's true. That's so true, Dimes. It does help to, be able to do your own services, so you don't have to pay the money to go, pay at the oil changing places or whatever. You change your own oil or do your own services. Yeah, it definitely saves money for sure. Swap out your own parts or whatever the case may be. Yeah. That's definitely something that I feel like people should definitely take into consideration and learn how to do your own services. Hmm. I did learn myself, save me a ton of money, bro. Yeah, Exactly. That's a good. That's a great thing. That's a great thing. You know, that's a great thing. Whenever something you need to do something on you need to do something with your car, just because these mechanics be costing an arm and a leg, man, for real. All that labor, hours charged, labor, they be racking up. Yeah, what's on the menu today? Uh, the menu today, I'm gonna have probably just some salmon, some green beans, and some rice. Pretty much it. Salmon, green beans, and rice. Yesterday I had tacos. It was Taco Tuesday for me yesterday. But yeah, that's pretty much what I got planned as far as that is concerned. Explain to me what grits are. Yeah, grits is a staple, especially down in the South, in the Southern United States. Um, it's how can I explain? I'm trying to see how I can explain it. It's real big down south, so it's our favorite dish. We eat it. Grits. You could eat fish. We could eat grits with fish. You could eat grits with. I know some people that eat grits with salmon. Some people put cheese in their grits. It's just it's basically like a staple that we eat for breakfast. Um, you could put sausage in your shrimp. You could put, and it's usually like made out of white corn. You can go, you could, you know what I'm saying. You could basically ground up the corn and cook it like that. Boil it. You can boil grits. You can mix it with broth. It's all type of ways to make grits, but that's like you know down south. That's really a big you know, really big staple, and we eat it like crazy down here in the South. Up there, see up north, they don't really eat grits like that up north. Like in other regions of the country like that, they hear about grits, but they don't they never really experience it because it's not really a thing. And like up north and like in the like on the West Coast and stuff like that, it's mostly a Southern thing. Yeah, basically corn. Basically corn. And the worst type of grits to eat, the what everybody wants to avoid when making grits is making sure that it's not lumpy, making sure that it doesn't have a bunch of lumps in it, cause that really ruins the grits. Ugh, I can't stand lumpy grits. You want that texture to be smooth. You want that texture of the grits to be real smooth, and put some butter in there. You know, mm, you be hitting the spot. What's up, Jerry? My boy Jerry in the building. What's going on? Nah, you good, Dimes? No worries. No worries. Yeah, that it is. It is. It's good to. I like that people ask questions about America. And find the culture here to be fascinating. People that are from overseas and stuff like that. That's really cool. It's good to learn about other cultures and everything like that. So it's nothing wrong with that at all. Um, Great. Why is the gravy white? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not too familiar with white gravy. Um, I'm mostly, most of the gravy that I'm used to is like brown gravy. You know, truth be told. Okay, boss P9. Yeah, man. Yeah, Jerry. I know last time you this is my fourth day in a row doing a live stream. I've been keeping up with the live streaming lately. It was pretty lit in here yesterday because I know the last time you were in here it wasn't really wasn't a whole lot of people in the live. Not really a whole lot in the live today either, but yesterday I had a lot of people come into the stream. But yeah, that's true, Jerry. White gravy, like is real. Yeah, I forgot about the biscuits and gravy. Yeah, the white gravy is good for with the biscuits, and like great like the brown gravy is more like for like stuff like mashed potatoes and put mashed potato put it on there or they meatloaf, you know, stuff like that. Nope, not when you're from the UK. Gravy is made from meat juices, blended vegetables. It's dark colored and damn, it tastes good, especially with Yorkshire puddings. Okay, okay. So y'all make yeah. So y'all's gravy is made different. I can see. So Dimes is so I'm trying to think what I wanted to ask you. Yeah, are you familiar with corn? Do y'all eat cornbread out there? Cornbread and collard greens and stuff like that. Are you familiar with that? Or at least corn? Yeah, cornbread. I'm pretty sure they probably don't. I'm just asking. I'm pretty sure you probably not too familiar with collard greens and cornbread, but I don't know. I felt compelled to ask that question. Yeah, I figured that much. Like cornbread is something we would hear from TV show. Yeah, I figured that much. I figured that much. Yeah, it's yeah. Hmm. Yeah, cornbread is like that's real like cornbread and collard greens is another one of those kind of like southern staples. Southern US United States staples. What about black eyed peas? Y'all eat black eyed peas out there in the UK? Nah, not really. Maybe from Taco Bell. Oh, they do black eyed peas at Taco Bell out there. Oh wow, that's I never heard of that. Yeah, I figured they probably wouldn't be something that out there that's a thing out there. Yeah, I figured it's not. So white gravy is made from flour and fat and broth or meat juices. Yep, that's true. Yep, about the white gravy. Yeah, sure is. Sure is. I'll give you my top five UK dishes, but this is suggestive though, or subjective though. Okay, yeah, yeah, definitely. Do you like beans on toast? Yeah, yeah, that sounds like that's probably that sounds like that's probably an English way of eating right there. Beans on toast. That does sound like something in the UK for real, Jerry. And oh, beans and cheese on toast with tomato sauce. Fire. Wow. Okay. Beans and cheese on toast with tomato sauce. Dang, that does sound low key lit though, for real. That does sound lit. And see the thing is too, I'm telling you, some of those struggle meals, some of those struggle meals be some of the best meals. Those meals you just get real creative, like or I should say, some of the foods that you make when now I know this isn't a meal, but I'll say you know, toasted bread and pour some syrup. Man, we support spread the syrup on the bread on the toast. Man, that stuff used to be so good, man, for real. Just get some toast, just throw that bad boy, throw some bread in the toaster, toast that bad boy. Have you a nice little syrup sandwich. We call them syrup sandwiches, or we just have one slice of toast and pour some syrup, spread it on there, eat it. We're good. Are the beans typically sweet? Yeah, that's a good question, Jerry. Yeah, that's what I want to know. That's what I like to know too. Better than French toast? Yeah, yeah. And it took no time to make you a little syrup toast. It don't take you no time. You could do that on the go. If you wanted to, you want to get a little quick breakfast. You ain't feel like standing over the stove. You just throw a couple things a toast in the toaster, make you some syrup, make you just a couple syrup sandwiches. You good to go. That's what we used to do that from time to time, man. So, and I like tuna sandwiches too. I like the tuna sandwiches on toasted bread. Tuna sandwiches are good. Now I know we now the English muffins. Now the English muffins are good. I like English muffins too. Our beans have a sweetness. Yeah, I can believe that. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that being a UK thing. And I believe UK breakfast is typically sweet. Yeah. hmm Yeah, I believe that. I believe that to be true too. Roast dinner, choice of meat, chicken or beef, roasted potatoes, carrots, cabbage cheese, and broccoli sauce covered in gravy with Yorkshire puddings. Wow. Dang, that sounds so good. Especially the roasted potatoes. Roasted potatoes are really good. I like roasted potatoes. Like potatoes are like some of my favorite things to eat. Especially like, and I like when like my potatoes. I like to bake mine too. I like bake my potatoes, put some of that Italian seasoning on it, put some butter, drench it in butter, and chop up. What I do too is I chop up some red peppers. I'll chop up a little bit of dice up a red pepper, real good. Blend it with the tomato or blend it with the potatoes. With the Italian seasoning on it, and I can have a dish off of that. You know, Bro, you have no idea. We roast them in beef fat, crunchy outside, fluffy inside, garlic and herb seasonings. Yeah, that sounds so good. Yeah, that sounds hella good, Don. That sounds really good, man. For real. Like I said, like roasted potatoes. I can definitely see. I can definitely grub on that. I could definitely grub on that. And the carrots sound good too. You throw you blend the carrots in there. Yeah, y'all be getting down. I see y'all be getting down out there in the UK. Y'all be eating good over there. Mhm. See, America ain't the only place, man. UK be throwing down. I know for sure. I know for sure. Down there in like the Latino countries, I know they definitely be throwing down. They be eating some good stuff down there too. The Mexican food and stuff like that, and a lot of these, the Colombian food. I know that stuff be sounding good too. Yorkshire pudding. It's a batter, egg, flour, milk. Put it into a pan with oil. It rises into a fluffy type of cake thing. It's crazy. Oh, okay. So you use egg, flour, and milk. Put into a pan with oil. It rises into a fluffy cake thing. Wow, that's interesting. That does sound good, Dimes. You know me, I try something like that too. I try to experiment, try to make something like that. Jerry said it sounds time consuming because uh I know you guys don't have dimes in the UK. Oh. Oh man. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Dime said I hoop. Okay, so so I get it. Dimes that come from like, well, I know from my understanding in basketball, as far as basketball jargon, the word dime means like I think it means like an assist and passes and stuff like that. That sound like the name, like that would sound like a point guard. That sound like a point guard, like somebody who be facilitating the basketball on the court, you know on the court. Remind me who remember Jason Williams? Some of my NBA fans out there who remember Jason Williams, aka White Chocolate, who played in the NBA back in like the late 90s. Played for the Sacramento Kings. Or if you go back even further, who remember Pistol Pete? Pistol Pete Maravich. Man, them cats used to throw some sick passes, man. Who else? We used to throw some sick. Who else throw some sick passes? John Stockton. Can't forget about John Stockton. Chris Paul, CP3 just recently retired. Lob City. Yeah. But that's good, Dime. That's good that you play basketball. That's good. It's one of my favorite sports. One of my favorite sports. Oh, how could I forget hot sauce? Yeah, you right about that, Dimes. Hot sauce. I forgot. How could I forget hot sauce from the N1 circuit? Yeah, hot sauce used to be doing some crazy, man. The N1, them N1 mixtapes back in the day. Hot sauce out there just doing some crazy moves with the basketball. Like, man, I'm like, man, he do things that was just absolutely crazy. Oh, you talking about bro dropped 83 last night. What's Bam from the Miami Heat. Bam Adebayo, I think that's his last name, Adebayo from Miami Heat. Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy, man. I saw it's crazy how I found out about that. I was on Facebook and I was like, I thought, sometimes, people be trolling on the internet. I was like, man, I thought, man, ain't no way this dude dropped 80. Yeah, they was like, yeah, he really scored 83 in the game. Second all time behind Wilt Chamberlain. And they said he went to the they said he went to the free throw line like 40 something times. Like he had like 40 something, uh 40 something. Like I'm like, how did he get to the line that many times? Like in one game, he went to the line. Oh, he shot over 40 free throws. That's crazy. Yeah, there's no defense in the NBA these days. You right about that, Dimes. You right about that. Like during the golden era of the NBA, especially when I was coming up, defense was a must. Like you like, and the games were a lot low. It was rare back when I was growing up in the like mid 90s. It was rare for a team to go over to score as a team over 100 points. You know, man, it was rare for a team to score over 100 points. That was considered an accomplishment if one team went out there and scored 100 points. It was rare because it was defense was that intense back then. Nowadays, you got games that be like 150 to 140 something, 150 to 101. Like you putting up like crazy video game scoring numbers. Like, yeah, I said it's looking at my Rodman jersey. Dennis Rodman was the like defensive juggernaut back in the day. Man, Dennis Rodman, he always brought intensity when he was out there rebounding and playing defense. So I'm guessing that's the Chicago Bulls Rodman, the number 91. Because of course, his early days were with the Pistons, the bad boy Pistons. Yeah, yeah, it was and defense was a lot it was a lot more like it was a lot more physical back then. It was a lot more physical. So like the bad boy Pistons, they used to like, that they weren't gonna let Michael Jordan just go dunk all over him like that. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't they would they was trying to hurt Michael Jordan. They didn't any they star players trying to come into the lane, trying to drive into the lane for a layup. Man, shoot, you had Bill Laimbeer, Rick Mahorn, and Rodman. You know, down there just absolutely harassing these players, man. Just beating them up, basically. It was a lot more physical. You wasn't just gonna score. You wasn't just gonna drop 100 some points in a game back then. That's one thing about the U.S. has done so well. Your school sports program are amazing, built to grow talents. That's fact. That's facts. That's facts. Um, a lot of homegrown talent right here, especially like when it comes to football. The South, like Texas schools, like states like Texas, Georgia, Florida, a lot of the southern states, they're a huge breeding ground when it comes to like top tier football players. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, if you want hockey, if you want like good hockey players, most of them come from like Canada, or they might, and then when they Americanized hockey, when hockey became a big thing in America, you know what I'm saying? That's when like yeah, that's when when the NHL really blew up, like, and they started expanding the NHL to like markets across America, us outside of like Canada and stuff like that. Yeah, you that pretty much bought a whole interest, like that pretty much expedited the interest of hockey within the US, because I always thought, I think Canada, I mean, I think Canada and like some places over in Europe were like real big with hockey, where a lot of the hockey players come from those places, those like real cold climate places, so our two top tier sports are football, rugby. Nothing else has money in it. Schools pretty much don't do much else. Sorry, soccer for you. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah, soccer, well, we consider soccer is football over there. Absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, I could see that being a real heavy emphasis out there in the out there in Europe. And yeah, and rugby too. Rugby, I could see that being a big Europe, big time European sport. And like what you guys think about that's a good I wanted to ask you, Don, what do you like what do you guys think about football, like American football over there, like, because I know a lot of times the NFL, they'll travel overseas. I think every year they have an annual game over there in the UK. They have their annual game over there in UK. Like, what's y'all's like perception on American football? Is it like something, did the NFL kind of help like bring uh like, a lot of fanfare to the NFL from that particular region? Yeah, rugby is growing in the US, absolutely. A lot of, I know a lot of like high schools and across America have added rugby as a sport, you know. Yeah. Yeah, and like I'll even speak to my experience in Japan. Like when I went to Japan a few months back, like baseball was a huge, I forgot how big baseball was in Japan, like how big that sport is out there. It makes sense because you have a lot of really, talented like Japanese born players that actually play. Of course they have their leagues in Japan, but like as far as the Major League Baseball here in America, you have quite a few like um Japanese individuals who play, in the Major League Baseball. It's a big show, but the NFL is very niche. It will fill a stadium here, but it will never take off, in my opinion. I played man sports, rugby being one of them. NFL is way too long and complex. We like games to flow. That makes sense. I can see that. I can see that being a thing, Don, because yeah, it's a lot of intermissions and stuff like that, and you know, Yeah, it definitely is. And see, the thing is too, like you look at the Super Bowl, for instance. You look at the Super Bowl for the NFL. Um, I mean, it's nothing new what they did this year with with the Super Bowl. It's been as long as I can remember. They've always had a ton of advertisements and commercials and stuff like that. That's that they get all this they get all this airtime and they stretch it out as much as possible to get as much advertisements and stuff like that. But it's just like the commercials just aren't as good anymore, and then now the halftime show, which has always been a huge part of the tradition of the NFL. But it's like the quality of the product has diminished. Like in my humble opinion, you know what I'm saying? Like it used to be a time where like they show a few commercials, they were entertaining or whatever, but they didn't have to show a whole bunch of commercials. They show a few of them, get to the point, get to the game, and they'll play, and that's that. You know, like it's just way too many intermissions and just all that type of stuff. But I understand too. I also understand too, though. It's all a cash grab at the end of the day too. That there's that aspect of it. We like entertainment and fast flowing games. NFL is seen as soft. We have no padding here. I know NFL hit hard. We do things a little different over here. In my opinion, a bit more aggressive. No disrespect. Hey, I hear you, Dimes. I feel you on that. That's just I understand. That's like y'all don't really. I wouldn't think. Yeah, I wouldn't think that the UK would really because rugby is so big over there, and as far as contact sports, I just never really saw the UK really gravitating towards the NFL that much. You know what I'm saying? Like just imagine the NFL. Just imagine football, right? Just imagine American football becoming a Olympic sport. Could you imagine that? like, come on. Like, I feel like football, the only country that football is like really, really embraced like that is right here in America. Like, I don't like. I just never really saw like it's not embraced like soccer. Soccer is international sport. You know what I'm saying? Like and a lot of these other Olympic sports, they're international. Like a lot of these swimming and gymnastics, stuff like that, track and field. Like those sports. They have an appeal. They have a mass appeal. In other countries across the world. But NFL, it's just, you know, at least the NHL was able to, like as far as hockey, they was able to bring they was able to bring that sport to make it and make it pretty popular over here in America. You can't really say the same thing for football. Football, they don't, it's just not one of those sports that really transitions very well to other countries. But that's how always how I look at it, you know. And baseball is way more of an international sport. Then it's way more of an international sport than football is. It's just that baseball, the NFL has exceeded in popularity over Major League Baseball, because there was a point in time where Major League Baseball used to be like MLB used to be major, like it used to be the World Series was getting just as much viewership as the Super Bowl was in the NBA finals. Now it's like you don't really major MLB. Yeah, you still have it. You still have your fan base and stuff like that. But it's just like I remember back in the day, you used to like the casual baseball fan at least knew who the top tier baseball players were of the era of like the 90s, for instance. Even if you didn't watch a lot of baseball, you knew who Ken Griffey Jr. was. You knew who Mike Piazza was. You knew who Sammy Sosa. You knew Derek Jeter. You knew who the big names were. You know what I'm saying? The Mark McGuires and all of them. You were aware of the Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa home run battle. You knew about Barry Bonds. Now you can't, like, it's hard to even name. I can't even think off the top of my head a major league baseball star from this era. We had a few players try to transfer to the NFL, always came back home. NFL, NHL, MLB is US dominated and rooted into your culture. You have yours, we have ours. We love to see NFL play a game of rugby. I feel you. Yeah, I definitely feel you on that, Doms. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just, yeah. That's really what it boils down to. You know what I'm saying? It's yeah, that's what it is, like with baseball, that's how it is. It's rooted in American culture. NHL, same thing with NHL, NFL, of course. Yeah, you know, so it's really difficult a lot of times to have those type of sports or those leagues transport transcend to other countries, other places, because they have you have your sport of choice, what you know best. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I used to always wonder. I'm like, yes, every year the NFL they go over to the UK. They have their annual, and then on top of that, was crazy about that, Dimes, is that not only do they have their annual UK game with the NFL over there. They be sending like some of the lower tier they send like the lower tier football teams over there. It's not like they send the top tier teams like the Super Bowl contending teams over there. They send like a team that's really struggling and send them over there. Like, I mean, how, like, it's bad enough that you sending the worst teams over there. It's just like I don't see how that would just transition into a lot of views and a lot of interest from those for the people out there in the UK, you know. But that's just my opinion, as far as that's concerned. Yeah, man. Kind of odd. I always wanted to grow up in the US, high school sports, proms, etc. You guys did this so well. I was jealous. Yeah, man. Yeah, those are like the quintessential high school American part of the culture here in America, like the proms. Like, yeah, that's a huge deal here in America. Like proms every year, it's the same thing. Matter of fact, prom season is coming up next month. I think it is towards the end of the school year next month, and it's like it's a whole fever out here as far as people. They be having prom fever, the high school juniors and seniors and all them. Yeah, it's real big down here. Prom, like, Like right around this time of the years when they start selling them prom dresses. Well, actually, they start selling them really sooner than this. They start like in January and February because they know prom season's approaching, and they be having them. They be having those discounts and sales and stuff like that. Wow. So y'all don't do proms out there in the UK like that. Yeah, the high school sports is very big. High school sports, they draw just as big of crowd as college sports. Like that's how, like, especially in this city in Georgia called Valdosta. It's a city in Georgia called Valdosta, which is like not far from Florida, not far from the Florida line. They call that Titletown, USA, because high school sports, their football team specifically. Now they're one of the schools they have the county school, which is Lowndes County High School, and they have the city school, which is Valdosta High School. They're huge rivals. They're like crosstown rivals. That they're most known for their football rivalry. And most of the times, either one of those football teams will win the state title. You know, they're that good, and that's like a huge part of the culture in Valdosta. Like every year they have what's called the Wintersville Classic, where Lowndes High School and Valdosta High School will play at the I forget. I think I want to say is I forget the name of the stadium that they play in. It's like right by the college, Valdosta State University College. But yeah, they were. Yeah, that brings out so many people. When I tell you, Dimes, you got people who graduated years ago from one of those schools that will come down for the Wintersville Classic, and they will pack that stadium just to see those two teams compete against each other. That's how intense that rivalry is. Yeah. So yeah, it's real big down in the US, like those high school football rivalries, basketball rivalries. It brings a lot of people to those events. Like, I mean, they draw massive crowds. I mean, so much so that Valdosta is I feel like the Wintersville Classic every year, that's a huge part of Valdosta's economy. That contributes great vastly to their economy because you got people coming to Valdosta, they staying in the local hotels, they're going to the restaurants. Yeah, they make a killing every year. That's a huge boost to their economy, the local economy right there. Yeah, I really wish I could have experienced that. We do proms, but not on your scale. Only came in like 10 years ago. Bro, you have to remember we were strict uniforms on some Harry Potter shit. Dang. Yep, I can see that in the UK. I can see that. I can definitely see that being a thing out there. Harry Potter, that's funny. Harry Potter uniforms. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I could see that. I could see the UK being strict when it comes to like like dress codes and stuff like that. You know, um, and here in America, like when it comes to like dress codes in the schools, um, most of the public schools here in America, um, they pretty much allow the kids to wear what they want to wear. You know, you have people wear stuff at the public schools that in the private schools they wouldn't even allow. They have you wear those they have you wear a uniform, mostly like plaid and all that other stuff. Whereas the public schools, they were, only thing they didn't allow in the public schools were like they wouldn't allow like women to wear like revealing clothes and or stuff like that. There were some restrictions, but for the most part, in the public schools, the kids wore what they want. Just as long as it wasn't like over the top or wasn't vulgar. They didn't have any vulgar shirts or nothing like that. I know you Americans think we drink tea and eat crumpets, etc. Fish and chips, Harry Potter. The TV portrayed us so bad. Yeah, I agree. That's another thing too. Like, you know, um, the portrayals and what actually happened in those countries are two different things. Like, TV, I feel like TV they stereotype. They stereotype. That's the thing. I think a lot about the media. They stereotype so much so that they infuse all of this into like any type of those stereotypes into the movies, the TV shows, and all that type of stuff. And we see it and we think that's what it is. But to hear it from someone, it's better to hear it from someone who's actually from there, to tell about the experiences, the real deal, you know, real deal. So that yeah, the media is real good for stereotyping. That's for sure. They do that a lot, even for Black Americans. For Black Americans, they stereotype us a lot. They'll stereotype someone like myself with dreadlocks. Say, they might stereotype me and put me in a box and think I'm a rapper. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And that's what it does, the it's a stigma and the stereotypes, and when people see that image and they associate that image with the stereotype, they'll, people who don't know any better, they'll see somebody like myself and be like, yeah, man, I saw this show. I saw these bunch of these rappers, they had dreadlocks, and they'll automatically assume, because that's the image that they saw, they'll assume that every black man in America is a rapper or some type of gangster or some type of criminal or something like that. It's just, I can't. I'm not really, when it comes to stereotypes. I'm the type of person that like to debunk stereotypes for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I could tell you it's nothing like that. A crumpet is something you have for breakfast in a toaster. We do drink a lot of tea and coffee. Fish and chips is eaten when we go to the seaside and coast. Okay, right, right. So basically, yeah, it's like it's certain things that you do. It's like those type of things y'all do them, but it's not like y'all do them on occasion. Like it seems like you do them on certain occasions, and not as much as the media like puts out there. Basically, you know. Because like you mentioned, you only eat fish and chips mainly when y'all go to the seaside and the coast. It's not just um, you know, yeah. It's just that not as much as they portray it to be. It's not a big thing, bro. It's like heritage stuff. Yeah, that's really what it boils down to. It's really what it boils down to. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we have our cultures, we have our cultures, we have certain things that we do. And yeah, and sometimes the media they'll take it and run with it. But grits and cornbread, similar thing. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. you know uh you take certain food items and certain particular clothing items or whatever the case may be, and they'll just they'll identify that with a specific culture. you know You know. Oh, and another thing. Speaking of grits, while it's on my mind, speaking of grits, you have some places in the South. They'll eat watermelon. They'll eat watermelon, chicken, and grits all together. Watermelon, chicken, and grits. Like it don't get more southern United States than that. Watermelon, chicken, and grits. And yeah, that was actually, if I'm not mistaken, that was the name that was the name of an album. It's this group called Nappy Roots. Nappy Roots. They from Kentucky. They like real country. They from Kentucky, and they had an album called Watermelon Chicken and Grits. That's the first time I've ever heard of that combination. I'm like, damn, do these people were they I'm trying to figure out, were they just being funny and just name their album Watermelon Chicken and Grits, or is that really a Kentucky thing? Is that really something that they do? Like they really eat watermelon chicken and grits as a combination? Like that is weird, but you know, but you know, in the South, man, anything goes. Anything goes. Matter of fact, next time I talk to somebody in Kentucky or next time I visit Kentucky, I'm gonna ask somebody, man, do y'all eat watermelon with your chicken and grits? Like, do y'all eat that as a combination? Because when that album first came out, I was only like 12 years old when that album came out. I mean, this was like a long time ago, but and I was like, man, ain't no way. It blew my mind as a 12-year old. Like, dang, they eat that? We have the four kingdoms that make up the UK. In the England, South is known for farming and money near London. Up north is known for industrial as is known for industrial and poor. Very odd. Oh, okay. So yeah, yeah. So y'all that's kind of how the US is set up. Like y'all pretty much kind of had the same. The U.S. pretty much kind of has the same type of like kind of like from a concept standpoint. You know what I'm saying? The North and South division, because the north up north here in the United States, up north, it's a lot more industrial cities, industrial areas, and whereas down south is more farmland, more agricultural, stuff like that. So yeah, yep, it's a divide for sure. It's a divide. It's crazy. It's crazy how that is though. Like, you know, yeah, man. Yeah, now I know here in Alabama we have a city called Birmingham. And it's based off of Birmingham over in the UK. Now um is Birmingham in the UK, is that more up north? Is that more like up northern UK? Because reason why I ask, because like Birmingham here in Alabama is known for, like, it's kind of like industrial. It's more like an industrial city. Like, they manufacture like iron and steel and stuff like that. Birmingham is known kind of like as the Pittsburgh of the South, because Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is known for its steel production, and Birmingham was known for that too during its heyday. So I was wondering if like the Birmingham over in the UK is that similar. Is it that kind of that's more like in the industrial up north part of UK? Oh, okay, it's right in the middle. Okay, Birmingham or what was it Burnham for slam? Is that what they say? Brum for slang. Very similar in older times, now more modern. Okay, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, yep. I was like, yep. Wow. Oh, okay, just it's Brum. Okay, Brum for slang. That's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah. But yeah, yeah, that's it's crazy because the UK, that's kind of like I said, America and the UK are a lot of similar are have similarities and at least in that regard because yeah, a lot of these cities, that used to be industrial are like very are more modern. They're more modern. They kind of deviated away from the industrial. And I mean, you still have some industrial activities going on in some of these cities, but a lot of the industry has died in a lot of these cities. Like, for instance, like when you look at mm, cities that like in their heyday was like Gary, Indiana. I like to use Gary, Indiana as an example because it's one of those Rust Belt cities in the Midwest where like, you know, where they had a lot of they had the steel manufacturing plants. As a matter of fact, that's where Michael Jackson's father worked at. He worked at the steel mill. You know what I'm saying? Michael, the Jackson family patriarch. Joe Jackson. He worked at the steel mill plant, and that was really in the heyday of these cities. That is what fueled the economy of these cities. Like, well, it was the warehouses, the steel mills, the automotive plants. Yep, like you said, Dimes. That like a Detroit, exactly. Detroit's another great example. Like, the automotive industry, meat packing and all these type of industries that were thriving, and then all of a sudden a lot of these industries died, and next thing you know, a lot of people were out of work, and then there was nothing to fuel the economy anymore. A lot of people were out of work. A lot of people went into poverty, and these cities just basically turned into like basically hellholes. Crime infested, drug infested areas. You know, it's like it's crazy how that because it took away a lot of jobs. A lot of jobs, a lot of really really good paying jobs, secure jobs, pensions and 401ks, all of that. And it's crazy. But they outsourced a lot of that work too. They outsourced a lot of that work overseas to a lot of countries overseas. So, which is because it basically had to do with cheap labor. You know, um, these these entities, they wanted to outsource that work, and cheaper labor and everything like that, and that as a result caused a lot of the Americans to suffer. Fun fact, we had coal miners in the UK. We had a food pastry thing called a Cornish pastry. The outer is made with a heavy pastry rim, so dirty hands didn't need to touch the main part. Oh wow. Okay, okay. Cornish pastry, that's interesting. So the outer is made with a heavy pastry rim, so that the dirty hands didn't need to touch the main part. Oh wow, that's great. Yeah, that's interesting. Like for real, sound like it sound pretty good too. I ain't gonna lie. Shoot, them pastries be hitting. Them pastries, man. Yeah, that sound pretty good. But yeah, the coal mining industry, that's another industry too that was used to be a thriving and the coal miners, bro, I definitely tip my hat off to them because it's such a dangerous profession, such a dangerous job. But these people went out there and did their thing, and yeah, coal miners, yeah, it's um I know West Virginia over here in the state. I know West Virginia is known for its coal mining. A lot of the Appalachians, like up in like West Virginia and like Eastern Kentucky, places like that. I know coal mining was really big there. You also had parts of Illinois too. See, I didn't even know this until like last year, or yeah, like the coal mining industry in like Southern Illinois was also a big thing. I learned that on one of my vlogging trips actually when I went to vlog in Southern Illinois. I was like, yeah, they had sculptures about the coal mining industry out there. But yeah, those are some of the few regions. I want to say Pennsylvania too. I think Pennsylvania has some coal mining. You know, I'm sure Kentucky. Well, yeah, Eastern Kentucky for sure. Yeah, it's filled with meat, potatoes, and vegetables. Wow, that's interesting. That's the first time. Now that I think about it, yeah, I think that was the first time I've heard of a pastry that had those type of fillings in them. That's pretty interesting. That's pretty cool. That's pretty interesting. I don't know why the first thing I thought about when I thought heard pastry, I'm thinking like, like some something with some frosting on it or something. Then they had fish, meat. They had meat, potatoes, and vegetable. And in that's yeah, that's interesting. Never would have expected that. Sounds good though. Sounds good. Yeah. You know what we need to do. Yeah, what's that? What's that? I need to send you a food care package for a live. Yeah, that would be pretty cool, man. That would be pretty cool, Dimes. For real. A food care package. That'll be dope. That'll be dope. That'll be a really interesting live stream right there. That'll be a really cool, dope live stream right there for sure. Oh, oh, Hershey bar ain't got nothing on the Cadbury chocolate. Whoa. Oh shoot. Uh-oh. Y'all hear that? To all my Hershey bar eaters out there. Nah, it's the Cadbury chocolate. It's the Cadbury chocolate. I gotta try that. It actually sounds pretty good. I just looked up the Cadbury chocolate, by the way. Hey, you talking about core ingredients: sugar, milk, cocoa butter, and chocolate. Dairy products range from dairy milk bars to cream eggs to mini eggs. Wow, this sounds like the real deal right here. Dimes. Oh man, but yeah, but shoot, I'm almost been on here for 2 hours. I'm gonna go get me a little nap in. I'm gonna give me a little power nap in because I've been ripping and running all day. Well, not all day, but for a few hours, just getting out and about, just chilling. But yeah, this overcast, rainy, stormy weather kind of got a brother a little drowsy, a little sleepy. But yeah, Dimes, we gotta link back up. We gotta link back up for sure. I appreciate you for tuning in to returning to another one of my live streams. And yeah, we definitely gotta look. Yeah, yeah, we definitely gotta link back up again, man. It's all as usual. Um, this was good. This was a good conversation, good, informative, very informative and very interactive live stream. So I appreciate that. All love to you as well, Dimes. All love to you as well. And I appreciate everybody for tapping in. For those who might have been watching from the bushes, Jerry. It was good having Jerry on here as well. Um, it was good having Unknown MC in the building, Thug Life tapped in, and Rich as well. So appreciate every one of y'all for tuning in to this live stream. And to you, Dimes, energy to you as well, brother. And catch you on the next live stream. Peace. Have a good evening.